Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. We're in Stockbridge, Michigan. This is my first motorcycle rally or show. A lot of cool bikes over here. Not a ton of vintage stuff, but let's take a look. I brought the 70 CB350 with me today, and man, having some great conversations with people. This is a lot of fun. Beautiful day, the rain's stopping. All right, let's look at some bikes. All right, sure glad I rolled out of bed early on a Sunday to go check out this little meetup in Stockbridge, Michigan. I was actually surprised how many bikes were there. Mostly kind of new stuff, newer, bigger bikes. Not a ton of vintage stuff, but there were a handful of vintage Hondas, like my 1970 CB350 Super Sport, all cleaned up. I actually cleaned it when I got there because, again, I just pulled it out of storage, I think, last weekend, shining up real nice, and I parked it next to this incredible BMW sidecar here. Look at this thing. Super unique and absolutely polished and beautiful. I love those little identifier license plates on the front of those. Just something cool and vintagey about all of that. But that one was a showstopper right there for sure. Was in the downtown square, and bikes were just kind of lined up all the way around there. People coming and going all morning. Again, not a lot of old bikes, but oh my God, a lot of motorcycle passion was happening in this space. There were a couple of old Hondas there. We'll get to those in just a minute, but everything was polished up, pretty clean. A lot of touring bikes, a lot of long ride bikes were pulling in. But always just cool to see unique things and maybe get some ideas. This one definitely stood out. This Ducati Scrambler, I've never seen one of these before, but that one's got a really cool stance, really simple. And yeah, that one caught my eye for sure. Here we go. Here's one, a little CB200 showed up. Look at that paint job. Love that two-tone paint on that. And then there was a 754. So that, again, is the bike my dad had growing up. It even had the classic Windjammer 2 on it. But something kind of special about this one, I didn't notice it right away. I don't know how I missed this, but this one actually had been converted into a sidecar. Probably not going to see one of those again real soon. Just kind of continuing the tour here. Again, a lot of big touring bikes, a lot of Harley Davidsons, not a lot of Hondas. But that's okay. It brought a lot of people together. The cool thing about the vintage bikes is I saw a lot of people standing around the vintage bikes that were there a lot longer than a lot of the newer bikes. Here's one that really stood out, a little CL, old CL right here, Honda. Look at that. I absolutely love that cloud silver on that. I wasn't able to meet the owner. I'm a little bummed out about that because I bet we could have traded some stories. And we're on the last leg here around the thing. Again, more and more touring. I got to go find some vintage shows, some specific vintage shows. I think that would be incredible, and I'd get a ton out of that. One other bike here that I really got into was this Triumph. Look at this old Triumph here. Love that seat, kind of reminiscent of that Super Hawk that we're working on here. But man, I kind of stopped and took note of that one as I passed by. It's amazing how some bikes just jump out at you, and then others are kind of forgettable. But this old Triumph, that got me kind of interested. Let's see, what else do we got coming up here? Some more bikes, one more line of bikes as we go through here. Kind of a rainy morning, but the rain subsided just as the show was going. Coolest thing, catching people peeking at the 70 and reminiscing. That was the best part, is just to see people appreciating that. And the trip to Stockbridge finally rolled. The 1970 CB350 Super Sport, over 6,000 miles. That's actual miles, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! This was fun. This was actually one of the older bikes, I think, at that show. I didn't see many. There's a couple in the video that you'll see that were older, but they left, and pretty soon I was the only vintage bike left. Ooh, first love. This was my first bike at 40 years old, first restoration. Just lit the fire for the hobby. So excited. Finally rolled it over 6,000. How cool is that? I might be hooked on these motorcycle shows. That was thoroughly enjoyable. So there you go. The 1970 CB350's first meetup. A lot of fun, and looking forward to doing that again. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe, and also go get that free sticker at keeponwrenching.com.